I don't think so.
Alright. Again, welcome to our walking tour of Golden City. Okay? Behind me you will see the original first church of Hay City. Okay? Hay City was a ramshackle type of town where men falling down drunk in the street or gunfights frequently erupting was a common thing. A lady by the name of Anna Wilson stepped off the Union Pacific in her early 50s, 52 I believe is what the historians tell us, and she noticed that in the first year here, not only was she the oldest woman in Hay City at the time, but she saw 8 men gunned down in her first year of moving out here. Now, the locals began calling her Grandma Anna, even though she didn't have any grandchildren of her own. But she decided she was going to clean up Hay City. So she thought what Hay City needed was a church. Okay? In 1873, she got the first charter for the Presbyterian Church here. 5 years later, her son, by the name of Hill P. Wilson, donated the land that this building was built on. Okay? He had a really good dry goods store. It was down on Main Street. We actually passed the location. It said Phillips Hardware up on the top. Okay? We even got Dr. Levi Sternberg to do the first sermon. Is that a name that you guys are familiar with? Yeah? Evidently, his family found some sort of sea monster underneath these fields right around this area. I don't know, that was after my time and all, but anyway, she decided that it took more than stone walls to make a church. It took a church to make a community, and a community to make a church. So originally, before this building was built, they threw a tablecloth over a local bar on Tommy Drum's bar. Okay? That worked great for the time being, but as soon as regular business hours started, they were rushed out faster than you could even count. So she began holding service in her own home before this was made. You can't see a blue light around the corner? I think we need to investigate. Let's go check it out.
I'm videoing all of this.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday. It's not messy. Yeah, I think it's not a good video. That is.
Closer. Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Hawley. You might know me as someone else. You know what else they call me? The Blue Light Lady. I came to Fort Hays with my husband Ephraim. Ephraim was a steward with the Army. And when we came, it was the women's responsibility. We could volunteer to be in the hospital. We weren't allowed to hold any kind of position in the Army. So during the day, we would sit with our patients, with the soldiers, and the stewards would go out into the battlefield and bring those soldiers that were injured, that were sick, that were dying, back in, and we would sit with them. Well, in 1867, there was a cholera outbreak here at Fort Hays. We lost over 50 soldiers and over 160 civilians to cholera that year. Cholera is a horrible, excruciating, gruesome death. It's horrible to have happen. It's even more horrible to sit beside someone and care for them. So during the day, I would care for the dying soldiers, and in the evenings, just so I could have a peace of mind, I would go sit on top of the hill that's behind the fort. It's called Sentinel Hill. And I sat there because you could almost touch the heavens. It's so high. And I would be on top of Sentinel Hill, and I would pray for our fort, pray for our soldiers, the brave men that were out fighting the Indians. And I myself contracted cholera. And my dying request to my husband Ephraim was to please bury me on top of Sentinel Hill. But when I passed, the ground was too frozen and there was too much bedrock, so they had a plan to bury me at the bottom, and they marked my graveside with 3 limestone posts. And the plan was, come and dig up my body and move me to the top of Sentinel Hill. Sounds like a great plan. Well, unfortunately, limestone was a high commodity in that time. They built all of their buildings with it. Well, they stole anything and everything. So in the springtime, when they came to dig up my body to move me to the top of Sentinel Hill, my limestone posts were gone. So they couldn't find my body. Well, those thieves, they met with an untimely death. One, well, just a few blocks over, he was drugged by a horse and buggy. And the other, across those railroad tracks, the wrong side. The third, well, heard a lynch mob got a hold of him. But I'm still wandering around. You might see me as a blue mist or a blue light. I'm just looking for my grave, so one day I can be at the top of Sentinel Hill. Have you ever seen a blue light out there?
No.
No. If you do, you help me get to the top.
Okay.
You know, color is extremely contagious, and I'm wondering how everybody feels. I don't know that it stops when someone dies. If you need to leave anyone behind, I have 2 soldiers that have passed your weapons.
Well, the Blue Light Lady is our most legendary and famous of all of our stories. But most of her story is all hearsay. I don't know about you, but I don't really feel to ask more clarification. So, we're gonna move on this way.
Oh, here's this part now. Here's this part now.
Come on back. I could use some help. Which one of you got a strong back? Nice. I'm not normally an undertaker by trade. My name's Jacob Collar.
You see, Mr. Carl owns a dry goods store, which also happens to sell coffins and undertaking supplies. That's how we got here.
Our dear old Pa died. And Mr. Kohler offered to bury him for just the price of our Pa's pocket watch.
Oh, Delia, I just can't believe he's gone.
Oh, me either.
There's a lot of sad stories around these parts these days. People around here don't live as long. They ain't got no kin to bury them neither. Now back east, old people die warm in their beds. But out here in the Wild West, people die young with their boots still on. So, if one needs buried, if any of the supplies are bought and paid for at my store, I grab my shovel and I head up the hill, the Boot Hill, to bury them with their boots on. Now my brother Morris wants me to follow him out to Dodge City. Says all the ruffians are moving out west. And it sounds like they need a Boot Hill of their own.
Why, Pa?
Now, Jacob Collier did end up following his brother Morris out to Dodge City. He continued to sell undertaking supplies and coffins and that type of thing. Maybe that is why they have their own Boot Hill Cemetery. We're gonna head right out and to the left, if you would.
This is interesting. Yeah, but we're not interesting. Yeah, I know. Don't spoil it. Don't try to spoil it. God, I is so fucking big.
Now, we have this space set up similar to a Volga German settlement. As you walk past, you can see the harness shop as well as any of the leather workings, any of the materials that you might need for your horse, buggy, anything to keep you working, with your livestock, okay? And then, if you move this direction, you will see one of our settlement homes. Now, originally the Volga Germans, went from Germany, moved to Russia for about 100 years or so, okay? After not finding it very hospitable and profitable for them, they began sending settlers over the seas to America to find a better settlement. So about 5 family members would go across, and they would follow the Big Creek all the way up to what we now know as the Wheatland Township. Okay? Along the way, they would make dugout homes because they'd be simple for short time frames. But once they reached their destination around Wheatland, they would make a home in a similar fashion to what they had back in Russia. Okay? Not much to look on the outside, but it would have 2 levels. The main floor would be mostly empty, with a lot of space for sleeping arrangements and that type of thing. They actually slept on the ground most of the time. They would have a small cooking fire as well as cooking materials for dinner. Up in the area where the roof angles, they would have a loft section where they would keep their harvest as well as anything that they brought from Russia with them to keep it away from ruffians as best they could. Now, they did not just have the natives to worry about stealing their materials, but they also had people from town. When the Volga Germans came, they were not accepted. A lot of people came because it was announced via newspaper to gawk, stare, and make fun of our new settlers. As you can see, we are not going to get a warm welcome as the doors and windows are all shut up for the night. So we are going to continue our tour this way.
It's nighttime. It's nighttime, so it's kind of hard to record with all of these lights. I'm excited for this part. I'm gonna go on this side. There's random people.
You're right, David.
Wild Bill Hickok.
Evening.
Evening.
How are we all doing tonight? Enjoying Hayes City?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, Bill, if it isn't the very man I came to this town to kill.
Bill Mulvey, you put down your gun.
I'm not putting my gun down, Bill.
Don't shoot him in the back, he's drunk. Sometimes you gotta be a quick gun and a quick wit.
Now, I don't know if that's exactly how it happened. Honestly, I believe that Mulvey was supposed to be on horseback when this scene occurs. I don't know. Most of the tales of Wild Bill Hickok and his exploits were told by word of mouth, so exaggerations were quite varying. One thing's for certain, once they took the stories from word of mouth and printed them for dime novels, all of Europe had their eyes firmly set on Hayes City and the Wild West. All right, we should probably move along. There is some rough terrain ahead. So watch your step.
I'm only 14 minutes. I'm literally 14 minutes in this.
All right, there is some rough terrain here.
Oh, this one is good.
Wait a minute.
good time? Because I know where to find one. Oh. Did y'all just come off the train? You might have noticed the line of brothels lining the railroad track of the Union Pacific, also known as Sodom of the Plains. This dusty railroad town was heavily rooted in gambling halls, dance halls, houses of ill repute, and saloons. Now, most prostitutes didn't rank in society, but I managed to own my own brothel there on 10th Street, then called Maine. My name is Nettie Baldwin, and I knew how to show good time to soldiers who just got paid or lonely cowhens missing their folk. Now, prostitution was illegal back in Hayes City, so girls like us had to pay fines for violations and heavy taxes on properties that we bought and sold just to fill the city's coffers. Prostitution was so woven in the economics of Hayes that when 10 working girls were jailed for violating the law, a local druggist named O'Brien took his gun and shot the hinges off the jail to free him, commenting, "We need to get our commerce back up and running." In 1870, it was said that there were 50 or more soiled doves here in Hayes City. That same year, the census reported only 320 in our population. Now, you may see our names in court documents because madams were the best witnesses to a crime. And even though we didn't report our occupations, we weren't secretive enough to use aliases. With no sophisticated towns or families, we didn't feel the need. Now, I'm going to take you towards my saloon, but I'm going to warn you, don't get distracted. Some of the girls around here, they come across a little desperate. There was no leaving this way of life. When a girl aged out of her profession, suicide was the best means of retirement, and an overdose of laudanum was the most popular method. Yeah, you want to walk with me? Are you okay with that? I'll give him back, I promise. Hello, what's your name? Everybody say hi, Warren. Hi, Warren. There you go. Everybody knows your name. You're famous now. So that was your wife? Oh. She don't like me very much.
She's okay with it.
She's okay with it. Okay. Did you bring your wallet? Oh, see. That's how she does it. She says she's okay with it, but then she won't give you the money. That's how that works. Well, I will leave you folks right here because that's the marshal and he doesn't like me.
Bye, Nettie.
I'm so ready for this sport. I'm already like 18 minutes in the video.
You're enjoying yourself tonight?
Not bad. You can hold it. Let us know. Evening, Marshal.
Sheriff, yeah. Evening, everybody. Before I start talking, know a couple of you folks here. Some of you are wearing all the newfangled Parisian garments. Looks like you're wearing underwear. This one right here. Orange. Well, I'm G.W. Bardsley, sheriff here. I don't suppose any of you read the newspapers, do you? Have you heard about a train robbery up north of Big Springs, Nebraska? No? Alright, well, they got away with 60,000 in gold coins. So the gangs split up, and I guess they're heading down into Kansas from up there. So I'm going to head out with a posse from Fort Hays. I don't suppose anybody wants to join in on that? Put your hands if you're interested. We got a couple over here. Strapping gentlemen. Ready to go. Yeah. All right. And a third one. 4 or 5. All right, good. Finally, you know what? Yesterday I was asking people this, they wouldn't volunteer at all. Now I'll let you in on a secret. You 5 of you that have volunteered, $10,000 reward from Union Pacific. I think that'll work pretty good. All right, well, we'll meet at 2 a.m. over at the depot. Make sure you guys get a strong drink for liquid courage before we head out on the train out west of Buffalo Park Station. Yeah, 2 a.m. You be there or get nothing in reward for it. Lieutenant Allen's coming down here with a couple troopers, so if you're worried about having a gun and a horse, all you gotta do is pay for your train ticket. That's all you gotta do.
Extra, extra, read all about it. World famous actress Louis Lord to grace the stage in Hays City tonight. And you've heard it first here. Extra, extra!
Read all those papers, boy.
Oh, I'm ready for this cold.
I just had supper with the editor of their newspaper. I'm Louis Lord, and I'm positive you have heard of me, for you are standing in the presence of a woman who has opened more opera houses on the kerosene circuit than any man. It's okay. I know you're speechless. I am just that great. I once performed at a stockman's convention in Caldwell, Kansas, where they were so taken with me, they rode out to the train to command me back for a week-long performance. But unfortunately, it is getting late, and there's a small reception being held in my honor, and I simply cannot be late for that. So I want you folks to remember that when you are Louis Lord, every night is a social event. Farewell.
think she's a little short of vanity, though. You know, I think there's a saloon right down here. Maybe we should get a drink.
What y'all hear? Oh, that Miss Louis Lord. She is a phenomenon of the stage. A splendid sparkle this city we got. And I think this fella right here can agree with me when I say I wouldn't mind a romp in the hay with her.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it's nice to see y'all. I got an acquaintance to be making.
Well, that's Pete Lanahan. Don't pay him much mind. Most people didn't, although maybe they should have. His other name he goes by is Rattlesnake Pete. Just like his name, he turns on people faster than you'd believe. All right, well, let's go get that drink. All right. Welcome y'all to the Peach Treaty. Here we go. Come on in.
You guys are gonna make it up this far.
Hey.
Ready for your first round?
Oh, heck yeah.
Belly up. First round's on me. see what we can do here. No, I got you covered. I got plenty more. Cheers. Oh, good stuff, isn't it? Put some hair on your peaches. Yeah, I thought I paid you guys to play. Come on. Let's hear some music.
Old man Tucker with a fine old head, washed his face in a frying pan, combed his hair with a wagon wheel, dialed his toothache in his heel. Get out the way, get out the way, won't you get out the way, old man Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Woo! Old man Tucker's come to town, got in the billy goat, getting a hound, hound dog barked, the billy goat jumped, landed old Tucker, straddled on the stump. Get out the way, get out the way, won't you get out the way, old man Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, get out the way, won't you get out the way, old man Tucker, you're too late to get your supper.
Come on down, guys. I got a round for you.
Don't mind if I do. Hard to be there, folks.
Oh,
That's what you got
all
here,
right,
yeah?
boys. Right here.
Hi.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Thank
Singing,
you.
Ida. Oh, that's good stuff.
Woo, baby.
That's my clue to the league right there. Excuse me, folks. Get behind you here.
Here you go,
Oh,
so soon.
And I'm gonna call tonight, deputy.
Well, that old Graham got as many lives as a cat, they say.
I believe that came about as much as I believe this money's real.
You know, I heard they'd be planning a posse against him.
Posse, what for?
Well, it said he might be one of those horse thieves Hickok's been looking for.
The horse thieves did a pretty good bounty.
Not only that, but when I run against Hickok next week, I might just give a upper hand.
That'd be a very good thing for you.
Might be.
That might mean we're gonna close up early
Yeah,
for
we're going to
tonight.
close up early, folks. Let's go on out. Thank you for coming tonight, listening to us.
Stay safe out there, folks. Yeah. Looks like it. We need to stick around. All right, make sure we get everybody. Okay. So, here's the thing. Not only did the railroad change.
Graham!
That's my horse. I bought it fair and square.
No, it ain't your
Look,
horse!
boys, I don't want no trouble. Look.
They killed that man.
So I think we're gonna head this way. Yeah, let's go this way. And so you know, I heard that Buffalo Bill. Yeah, Buffalo Bill is like you know, guarding some buffalo skins tonight. Yeah, I heard that Cy Goddard actually pays him to shoot 12 buffaloes every day for meat for his saloon. Which I gotta admit, that's a lot of business. I guess it was a provisional store along with other things too. Oh, Buffalo Bill!
Howdy.
Evening! We were just talking about you.
Good things, I presume?
Yeah. We were just talking about how you were guarding some buffalo skins to send back east.
We got some skins we're sending back east. Make a pretty penny off them.
Oh, yeah.
But this area's kind of been overhunted, so we're heading west following the buffalo.
Gotcha.
Means we got a train to catch.
Okay, so you're heading out pretty quick.
Sure are. And you all are headed into what we call the threshold of hell. So watch your step. Psychotic food is right up ahead.
Okay, so come on this way, folks. So not only is he sending skins back east, but did you know that the railroad actually is what changed how we get mail, right? So on the train, they would put these mail into the bag and sort it out. They'd hang it outside of the train, and as they saw the bag coming up from the area they needed to do, they would grab on and hold on tight. Problem was, it also came at a price sometimes.
Ambushed! We never saw them coming. We came down from our main camp. 7 of us Union Pacific soldiers. It came down here. We were ambushed by the war party of Sean Lee. It was a complete slaughter. They
took my scalp and left me here to die under the sweltering sun. I did manage to make it back to the fort, but I later died there due to my injuries.
So, legend says that there were 6 of these railroad workers that would fall out of the train right around this area and be scalped by the natives. We even found some of their headstones, even though they were fairly small, out by Victoria. But, as she says, he's the only one that made it back. Be careful tonight.
You too.
Alright, so, crossing the railroad, we've had a touch of liquor, darkness. We need to keep our eyes open and cautious because Hays City at night was a dangerous place to be.
Get your hands in the air!
Okay.
Say, this group looks mighty hungry. It'd be a shame for you to leave this world with that empty belly. Out a saloon just right on over there. I'll let the cook know you're coming. You are coming!
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah?
Nope.
Jim, get out of here. You're bothering these people.
Inside.
Good evening.
Well, good evening. You can do better than that. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, much better. Well, I see you met our good friend old Jim Curry up there. Well, if you know Jim Curry, he was one of the most meanest men in Hays City. Why, even newspapers wrote about him and said he was the meanest, wickedest man in all of West. The problem with Jim also, he was a Civil War veteran. And a lot of those guys took to the bottle, and they drank too much. A lot of them definitely drank themselves to death. So, enough about Jim. Now you're going to meet the most prosperous man in Hays City. And that's me. My name is Cy Goddard. I ran one of the most, right over there, one of the most popular bar and dance saloons. So let's cross right over, and I'll show you where I began.
I'm recording all of this.
Everybody just gather around here, gather around. First of all, I want to say that when you go up and down these streets, there's a lot of these plaques around. Talks a little bit of who was here, maybe what years, and possibility tells you what happened. But anyway, Cy Goddard Dance Hall and Saloon. I started with one of the most popular dance halls in all Hays City. While we had some of the, what you call celebrities today, we had Western heroes stop by, such as General Custer and his brother, very popular. They graced our doorstep many times. Wild Bill Hickok. Everybody knows Wild Bill Hickok. He came and played some cards and even played cards with P.T. Barnum, who ran the circus tour through here. And of course, Buffalo Bill Cody. Well, he stumbled in a few times and absolutely caused some chaos once in a while. But we also were known for causing a lot of trouble and murders and everything else in here. Why, even we got a kind of a nickname, you know, Cy Goddard's Dance Hall. Threshold to hell is what they told us. But anyway, it was a tough life, no doubt. But before I go, I think I have a few moments left. But if you think you had a bad day today, listen to my stories. I had a young lady called Lou Sherwood that actually worked for me. She was very upset with an old lover and tried to get back at him. She ran on the dance floor, took a butcher knife, stabbed herself in the chest 10 times. Yeah, just like that. And she yelled at the same time, "This is for you, Fred." So, a lot of problems happened down in Hays City, especially if you were drinking and had a lot of alcohol, fueled a lot of passion. Well, it's time for me to go. So I appreciate you all stopping by here. Go on down here. There's Kate's place down here, and tell them Cy sent hello. You have a good evening.
Not this time. Not this time, I guess. I don't feel any hotness today. I don't get how they did that last time. Make the wall hot.
Well, here's a toast to you, my new friends and drovers, and I hope you come back 1,000 times over. Cheers! Oh, that's what warm you up on a nice chilly evening. Well, welcome. I am Kate Coffee, owner and proprietor of the Kate Coffee Saloon. I was born in Ireland in 1843. It was then that the Great Potato Famine was starting to happen. So my family wrapped me up and brought me to America as a wee babe. 'Tweren't easy on none of us. But I worked hard all my life, and look what it brung me. And my building still stands today. It was here in Hayes City that I met and married the love of my life, Mr. Mike Coffee. We were married here in Hayes, and on the very day that Wild Bill was sworn into office, what a celebration it was all across town. All the celebrating, all the drinking, and all the hot tempers. But the Irish knew how to handle hot tempers, and I could cool them off, so you best be careful around old Kate. You look like trouble.
No, Kate. I don't need to hear all your stories today. Why don't you and I just dance?
Let's just dance, my darling.
Now, Kate was a businesswoman and was quickly run out of Hayes because of her bad business practices. What she did was she moved her saloon out towards Larned and set up shop again. But that didn't stop her troubles from coming to find her. We'll call him a customer came in one night and said that she had given him a transmittable disease.
It wasn't me.
Well, as she grabbed her axe from behind the bar to run the man off, he got the upper hand, grabbed a butcher's knife, and stabbed her several times. All right, well, we will leave you two together. Have a good evening.
Good night. Thank you for visiting.
This body's still lying here? It's been here all night. This is bad for business. Who's going to clean this up?
Well, that's not my business. My business is taking pictures. So if you don't mind, this is what's going to put Hayes City on the map. We got these bodies laying around here from gunfights, immortalizing these people, making gunfights romantic by the people that are shooting guns. It might just put your town on the map. That's my business card if you need it.
She was certainly right. The mass bodies lying in the street definitely did put Hayes City on the map for one reason or another.
Evening. Mary Boland, you stand here in my courtroom accused of killing, well, belligerently beating your husband to death with a fireplace shovel?
It's what I had.
Well, due to the lack of evidence, I suppose I'll have to let you go.
Oh, thank you, Judge Joyce. Thank you. The good citizens of Hayes City will know of your wisdom and mercy and my support for your re-election.
Well, thank you. Well, you have now entered the courtroom of the Honorable Marcy E. Joyce. You know, just the other day, I had a gentleman in my courtroom by the name of Wild Bill Hickok. He was accused of killing Samuel Strawham, and, well, I had to let him go. I don't think it had anything to do with him being a good friend of mine, but regardless, I had to let him go. And you know, just yesterday, I had a group of soldiers in town by the name of the Buffalo Soldiers. Oh my gosh, they came in and shot up Hays City. They even killed a couple of people. You know, the citizens of Hays were pretty ruthless. They took them all. They took them not too far from here. Strung them up on the bridge right over there by the railroad tracks. If I were you, I wouldn't go down there because I'm not sure that they passed on yet. That's unfortunate. Well, you know, Hays City was very ruthless, and times were tough enough that sometimes people would just go out and steal another man's cow to make ends meet. Just wasn't right. But you know, I was known as a good judge of character, and I could always look a man in the eyes. Tell whether he was telling the truth or not. Young man, you got some shifty looking eyes. Come on over here. You want to sit a spell right there in my courtroom, if you would, please? Stealing cows, really? So, how many of you think he's innocent or guilty? What a crowd. Well, let's see. We could just do this real quick. I got a noose right here. But that takes time, and I got to be next door to the saloon here in a little bit. So let's see. Let's see if I can look at the evidence. Before I do that, you know, Judge Joyce, myself, I was known to determine whether a man was innocent or guilty by the amount of money he had in his pocket. How much money you got, sir?
Oh, he's guilty now.
Oh, guilty. Guilty.
Yourself. Come on.
Let me see your hand, sir. Oh my gosh, they're as soft as a baby's behind. We got a genuine city slicker here. Yeah, soft. Well, see me later. I don't think you could have roped any cows. So, I guess I'm going to declare court closed and just stay away from cows, all right?
Well, you should be talking to me
folks,
about that.
make sure you keep one eye ahead of you and one eye behind you, because it's not safe out on these streets. Have a wonderful evening.
Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Okay, the Cybertruck's still there.
Immortalizing Wild Bill Hickok for all of his contributions to our community. Wild Bill Hickok was sheriff for at least a few different courses of Old Hays City's time frame. In 1870, his deputy, Pete Lanahan, that we met earlier, actually beat him out as running for sheriff that year. Well, not only was Wild Bill not so excited about losing, but the townspeople actually were pretty upset. They got a posse together and actually assassinated Pete Lanahan right around this area. So the placement of the statue seems a little bit convenient. All right, we're nearing the end of our tour tonight, but we got a couple more stops. Looks like we have Professor Clark up here trying to sell some of his snake oil. I will caution you at the railroad here to pick up your feet. Just be careful. Rough terrain, rough terrain. Professor Clark. Good evening, sir.
Now gather around here, folks. Gather around. No need to push or shove. I will answer all questions once I am finished. I would like to introduce myself. Like the lovely lady who said, I am Professor Stanley Clark, and I'm here to say the finest of my snake oil liniments and tonics. I traveled to the far west where I met up with the Hopi tribe. There they showed me amazing healing rituals and ceremonies. Some involved very dangerous snakes. We're talking the western diamondback, the cottonmouth, the pit viper, and the copperhead, just to name a few. Trust me, you don't want to tussle with them. Let the professionals handle it. These snakes had the power of the native lands in them. Some people say the Chinese were the first ones to do it, but don't you trust them vagabonds. They do not have the genuine good stuff like I do. You ever heard of cholera or smallpox or what was that one going around last year? Scarlet fever. No? Well, so you're not looking too well there, young'un. Are you sure you're not feeling any bumps on you?
She has a cold. You have a cold.
Oh.
Mothers, aren't you scared that your children will pass away from tuberculosis or dysentery or typhoid fever? You don't want that second one. Trust me, I had a cousin who had it. Oh, he did not want to be near him within a week or two. Well, don't you worry. A little bit of this and it'll be gone for good. And add this to your baby's bottle, they will be living a long and healthy life. You got tooth decay? Swish and gargle this 3 times a day and your mouth will be shining like the pearly gates of heaven itself. Got arthritis? Put a little bit of this on your joints and you'll be dancing the Irish street with cake coffee in no time. This can do much more than heal your ailments, folks. You there, sir? Yes, sir. Yes. You been losing your hair lately? Yes, sir. Okay. You know anybody who does, send them my way. Look at that. Apply this to their head and they'll be having luscious locks like mine in about a month or 2. Woo. You there, young lady. Apply this behind your ear and you'll be having suitors from far and wide asking for your hand in marriage. You got a stuffed axle on your wagon wheel? Put a little bit of this on there and you'll be heading straight up to Oregon in no time. You may be thinking, Professor Clark, this can do so many amazing things. It's got to be expensive, right? Well, folks, this will only cost you just $1. That's right, only a single dollar. Now get yourself a bottle before it's all gone.
Now, if Professor Clark didn't swipe your money, many times pickpockets at this type of event would have. Now, the federal government did seize his remedy in 1917. When they did, they actually found that he had absolutely no snake oil in his remedies to begin with. He had things in there like mineral oil, turpentine, I think there was some cow fat and maybe a little bit of red pepper.
Hey, that spice helped out.
Oh, okay. Well, it did have minor effects on things like arthritis and bursitis. Would have been something similar that y'all have heard of called icy hot? I don't know. But I think we'll leave you tonight, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Mrs. Ramsey, good evening. Good evening.
You sure it's okay?
I know that life must go on. That's what everyone keeps telling me. But I can see that my life is at its close, just as clearly as a premonition told me of my husband's death. But for now, I remain Mary Ramsey, recent widow of Sheriff Alexander Ramsey. Hays City had many sheriffs, as well as many gunslingers. In June of 1875, my husband set off with his deputy, Frank Shepard, on the trail of horse thieves, led them to a camp just outside of Stockton. When Frank and Alex took the camp, gunshots were exchanged between both parties. And my husband, he was shot by one of the thieves. And because there was no quick way to notify me of my husband's death, and it was so hot, his remains were held in Stockton, while Frank continued on following the remaining thief. No one need tell me that my husband lay dead, because I had a strange premonition. The hair on my arm stood on edge. Cold chill ran down my spine, and I broke into a cool sweat. It was the most complete and overwhelming feeling of dread that one could barely begin to describe. Knowing that something was terribly wrong, I summoned a buggy and I begged my friends to accompany me north towards the Saline River, where we were met, perhaps by chance or maybe destiny, by the wagon carrying the husband of my corpse. Corpse of my husband, excuse me. And his killer was later captured, but he was found not guilty because it was from Indians that the horses had been stolen.
Are you gonna be all right?
I think I'll be fine. I'm among friends here.
Oh, Mrs. Ramsey's husband was the 9th person to be buried in the memorial cemetery up on further north. Mary Ramsey herself actually followed 11 days later because of her broken heart. I believe we're gonna leave her, ma'am. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
Now, speaking of premonitions and bad feelings, we have the last few people, spirits, guests, whatever you want to call them, who would like to say hello before you guys leave us tonight. Down the alley on the right-hand side, you'll find the entrance to our venue, and I hope you make it there in one piece. This is where I leave you. Good night, y'all.
Hope there was water that actually went on my pants. Hope there was water on my pants. Well, that's the end.